Hello, welcome back. All right, so we are looking at fraction, decimals, and approximations. All right, so now what's a fraction? Now, fraction is defined as part of a whole, okay? So when you are being asked to take out fraction of a particular object, you are only taking part of it, right? For example, if you have an object, okay, let's say an orange, and you divide the same one object into two, okay? So one part of it is just a fraction, half of the entire whole, and half is just 1 all over 2. 1 out of 1 all over 2, and this 1 all over 2, okay? In case you divide it into 4 parts, one part of the whole is 1 part out of the 4 division that you've got. So that is fraction. So fraction is always part, fraction, okay, of a whole. And of course, this is how we express fraction. Okay, a all over b, right? So the number up here is called the numerator, and the one down is called the denominator. All right, so that our fraction is of types. Okay, fraction is of types depending on the nature of the fraction. A fraction can be proper. Okay, say the proper form, because a proper fraction is supposed to be fraction of a whole. So that means if it is a fraction of a whole, the denominator should be greater. So proper fraction, okay, this fraction is said to be proper if the denominator is greater. Okay, a proper fraction, the denominator should always be greater than the numerator. B should always be greater than A. All right, and of course, if the fraction is improper, then that simply means that it's a fraction, but it happens that the denominator is actually less than the numerator. For example, okay, example of this is 2 all over 3 is proper. 3 is greater than 2, right? But here, example, you have 5 all over 4. Okay, so this is improper fraction. Then the last, okay, the another type of fraction that we're going to be looking at is a fraction known as mixed fraction. Mixed fraction. So as the name implies, it's a fraction that is actually mixed with a whole number. All right, it's mixed with a whole number. Now, so which simply means that such a fraction like 2 whole number 1 all over 3 is a mixed fraction. 2 whole number 1 all over 3 is a mixed fraction. Now, anytime you have a mixed fraction, it is always advisable, before you can simplify fraction, you should always convert every mixed fraction to an improper form. Okay, you don't simplify fraction in a mixed form. All right, so this is 2 whole number 1 over 3. For me to convert this to an improper form, I multiply the denominator by the numerator. I'm gonna multiply 2 times 3. Then I add whatever I have at the numerator plus 1. Then I now divide everything by the denominator that I had before, which is 3. So let's do this. Please plus 1, not plus 3. 2 times 3, then plus 1. Okay. Of course, if you do this, it's going to be 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. So 7 all over 3 is the improper form of this. Let me give you another example. 1 whole number 1 all over 2 all over 5. Let's do this. 2 all over 5. Okay, so the same. I multiply this. That's going to be 5 times 1. Add 2 to it. Then, of course, I have to divide by 5. So this is going to be 5 plus 2. This is going to give me 7 all over 5. All right, so now these are how you convert a mixed fraction to an improper fraction. Now, in this particular video, we are going to be looking at some simplification of fraction. And that simplification comes in the form of basic operation in fraction, okay? Now, what I mean by basic operation, those are basic operations, simply the basic addition, multiplication, okay, subtraction of fraction, all the operators, all the mathematical operators we're going to be we'll look at how we work, okay, with them in fractions. So here I'm going to start with basic addition or subtraction. Okay, so this one actually uses the same procedure. So addition and subtraction, okay, uses the same procedure. So of course, and I will be illustrating by example. All right, so example evaluate the following. A part of the question, 2 whole number 1 all over 3, then plus 1 all over 2. B, 3 whole number 2 all over 5 minus, okay, 3 all over 10. Also, let's solve the solution. Now, for me to solve that, two methods I can actually employ. Okay, so anyone that is actually convenient for you, you use. But first, I told you, before you can simplify a fraction, you must convert that fraction to an improper form. The one you must convert the mixed fraction to an improper form. So I have to convert 2 whole number over 3 to an improper form first. So 3 times 2 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. So that's gonna give me 7 all over 3. Okay, then of course plus 1 all over 2. So this is going to be equal to, I will have to now get the LCM of the denominator. The denominator is 3 and 2. So the LCM, for me to simplify this, I have to find the LCM of 3 and 2. The LCM of 3 and 2 is simply 3 times 2, okay? 3 times 2 is 6, and I'll start dividing. If I divide 6 by 3, I'm going to have 2, and I'll use what I have, the result, to multiply the numerator. I will go through it again. I find the LCM of the two denominators, then I start dividing. I'll start using the first denominator to divide that LCM, and whatever I have, I multiply to the numerator. Okay, so let me go again. 6 divided by 3, that's 2. 2 times 7 is 14. So I'll write 14 here. So I bring down the plus. I do the same to the second fraction. Okay, so 6 divided by 2, that's 3. 3 times 1 is 3. All right, so now this is going to be equal to 14 plus 3. What do we have? That should give me 17 all over 6. Okay, now I have to break this down. Okay, 17 divided by 6 will give me 2 whole number, right? And the remainder is 5. With remainder 5, 2 whole number, then 5 all over 6 is the answer to this particular question. All right, so let's proceed. All right, here we go. The next question. It's like I've missed that. Okay, so please pardon me. Okay, so the next question I will work on. So here I have to convert this first. 5 times 3 is 50. 15 plus 2, that gives me 17. 17 all over 5. Then minus 3 all over 10. Okay, so for subtraction, we still go through the same process of finding LCM, LCM of the denominator. The LCM of 10 and 5 is, of course, is 10. Then 10 divided by 5, I'm going to have 2 times 17. Okay, let me do that yet. 2 times 7 is 4. 2 times 4, of course. 2 times 7 is 4, yeah, remember one. 2 times 1 is 2 plus the 1, that's going to be 34. 34. Okay, so that's 34. So here I'm having 34. The minus. Okay, 10 divided by 10, I have 1. 1 times 3 is 3. So at the end of the day, I'm having 34 minus 3. That gives me 31. Then divided by 10. And of course, if I divide 31 by 10, Uh, 10 will go into 31 into 3 places, then remainder 1. Okay, so that's going to be 3 whole number. Then the remainder is 1. 1 all over 10. Okay, so we'll still going to look at complex uh, examples, but let's continue with other operation. Okay, I have already talked about subtraction and addition. Now we are going to be looking at the next operation. Okay, and here we are going to be talking about multiplication. Multiplication. Okay, so a multiplication, to evaluate multiplication is just simply very easy. You multiply numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator. Okay, for example, if I have A all over B times C all over D. Okay, so I just need to multiply A times C will give AC, B times D will give BD. But let's look at it's okay. Look at it in a real example. It does. Okay, so we are looking at evaluate the following. Okay, so what are we having? A part of the question 5 whole number 1 all over 3, then times, okay, times 6 all over 7. Okay, B 1 all over 3 times 10. Okay, oh, let's, okay, 5 all over 7. Okay, think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so let's flow solution for this. Okay, I have to convert this first. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1, that's 16. That's gonna be 16 all over 3 times 6 all over 7. Now you know what I do, but for you to make your simplification, sometimes if you want to multiply, okay, you might have a very large number which will be very difficult to simplify because after multiplying you still need to break it down to the lowest step. So sometimes before we multiply, we'll break it down first before we multiply. How do we do that? If we see a common factor that can divide the numerator or the denominator, we'll do that, okay, to break down our fraction. So 3 is a common factor that divides itself 1, divide 6 to have 3, okay? Divide 6 to have 2, please pardon me. So nothing again can divide, so I can now multiply 16 times 2, that gives me 32. And of course, 1 times 7 is 7, okay? So how many times will 32 go into 7? How many times? That should be 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, that should be 4 times. Yes, plus that's 28. So that's gonna be 4 whole number, and the remainder is still gonna be 4. Okay, can actually correct. If I made a mistake, I'll correct that for me. All right, so that is that for that particular question. Let's look at the B part. This is A part of the question, and we'll look at the B part of the question. 1 all over 3, then times 5 all over 7. So directly we multiply, not until we cancel out. 1 times 5 is 5, and of course 3 times 7 is 21. As simple as that. Okay, we're still gonna look at more complex question on this, but let's proceed with division. We proceed with division. All right, division. How do we divide? Okay, so we'll illustrate that using example. Okay, so let's look at this. Evaluate 2 whole number 1 all over 5. Then times. Then divided by, please pardon me. Divided by 21 all over 25. Okay, so I'll just use this to illustrate how we actually operate on division. Now, first, you know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to convert this. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. This is going to be 11 all over 5. Then divided by 21 all over 25. So for us to actually evaluate division, all we need to do is to convert that division sign into multiplication sign, all right? But if we should do that, then the divisor, this is the divisor. Okay, the divisor is like the denominator, the fraction that is dividing this, all right? This is the dividend. This fraction is dividing this, okay? So for me to change this division sign to multiplication sign, I have to invert the divisor. Inverting the divisor means the numerator of the divisor will become the denominator, while the denominator will become the numerator. Okay, so that's what is gonna happen here. Now I'm gonna have 1 all over 5. All right, then multiply by 25 comes up. Then of course 21. All right, 5 divide itself 1 divide 25. I have 5. So I end up having 11 times 5. That's going to be 55. Then divided by 21. Okay, so this should give me 2 whole number. So what's the remainder? Remainder is going to be from 42 to 55. The difference between 42 minus 55. Okay, that's basically 5 minus 2 is 3, 13. Okay, so 2 whole number 13 all over 21. So that is how we work on division. Okay, so now I have to actually introduce the basics of this. Why? Because the complex part of fraction is not just simplifying division or multiplication, okay, addition separately. Okay, complex part of what you will expect in exam is the combination of all these operator in one question, a question where you have to evaluate multiplication, division, subtraction, and addition. So how do we do that? And that's what we're going to be looking at in the next video. Okay, and that is applying the principle of body mass. All right, so see you in the next video. Thank you very much.